friends. I'm your host, Dr. Dave Layton, and thank you for joining me in our journey to hope. It is my desire through this podcast to bring you information about how to discover, sustain, or perhaps regain hope. In today's episode, I'm speaking with a new friend, Jessica Prichard. Jessica has a journey of hope to share with us, and I think you'll be inspired by her story. I recently met Jessica, and I am excited to have her as a guest. I usually have more, if I can call it, mature in age guests. By that, I really mean old people. But we're here to hear the story of her journey and her insights into hope. Well, hello, Jessica.
Hello.
Well, tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am a senior here at East Texas Baptist University. I'm studying communication studies.
Okay.
And I'm looking more into the public affairs route with that, hopefully dealing with public policy in like a political sphere. So there's a lot of different ways that I can kind of play with that. I am the middle child of 8. Which usually gets a little bit of a shock factor.
That's a large family, 8.
Yes. Ages ranging from 10 all the way to 28. So My parents have been parents for a long time. And I'm 22 and I'm married.
Yes, you recently got married.
I did.
Within this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, I made that connection. I didn't make it at first, but you were married out at Camp B, our Sojourners Camp, and then I made that connection. Somebody mentioned that. That's great.
Yes, sir. And he is a sergeant in the Marine Corps.
Oh,
so
okay.
He's stationed up in Virginia right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's pretty much it, yeah.
Wonderful. 8.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a big
5
family.
5 brothers, 2 sisters, and they're twins.
Okay, that's great. Well, if you don't mind, I have been told that you have a wonderful story to share, and that's about your journey to hope. And so if you would, please just kind of share that with us.
Yeah. So like I mentioned with the siblings, my mom has birthed 8 of us. Now, my oldest brother, Jeffrey, he passed away when he was 4. There was an incident where he was playing in the road outside, and there was a drunk driver driving a company vehicle, and they struck him. The only other detail I can add to that is my brother Jeremiah was maybe 2 at that time, and my mom was pregnant with Todd, my 3rd brother.
Okay.
So when he got hit, both of my parents were inside, and it was the neighbor that actually called the cops. And so CPS got involved because the fact that like my parents didn't notice and weren't watching him playing in the road as a 4-year-old just kind of raised a lot of flags. And then it came to be found out that they were under the influence. I'm not exactly sure what drug exactly, but they were under the influence. So that played a whole nother part of it. So I actually grew up with just my brother Rylan because Todd and Jeremiah had been removed. And, you know, when my mom got pregnant with Rylan, she had to go to court for that. And they said, well, we'll let you keep him, but we're going to supervise you for the first year. Because there were, besides Jeffrey's death, there were other things that made them question, like her ability to parent and everything. So, yeah, I think it's kind of funny, like, when I tell people I have 8 siblings, they're like, oh, so you're a middle child. Like, I would have always assumed you were the oldest. And it's like, well, technically I've been the youngest.
Perhaps you,
And then when I was 8, Dylan came along. And then I was middle for a while. And then I was 14, and my 2 little sisters were born, and then Rylan moves out. So I've really kind of gotten youngest, middle, and oldest, kind of an arrangement of those.
I would like to have known you in the late 90s. I did my master's thesis on the relationship between birth order characteristics and how people like to learn, how they prefer to learn based on their birth order. And so that's fascinating. We can talk about that more later, but yeah, it's fascinating how sometimes that dynamic does change. Blended families will impact. Anyway, that's great. That's interesting. Okay, so you saw a lot of this unfortunate dynamic that was going on within the family. Yeah, that's got to have an impact on the family as a whole. I can only imagine. And so, can you describe kind of how that made you feel, or?
Yeah, well, after everything with Jeffrey, Jeremiah, and Todd, my parents were pretty good about, trying to stay away from any kind of influential drugs or alcohol or anything like that. But after Dylan was born, my mom actually was pronounced dead for 3 minutes during his birth. And so following that, they had her on different pain medicine. And so she ended up with an opiate addiction.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah. So I actually did a lot of the caretaking and raising of my little brother.
About how old were you then?
About 8 or 9.
Wow.
Like, I remember sitting there making the formula bottles and holding him. And that was definitely pretty impactful.
Welcome to adulting.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Okay, go ahead, please.
And my dad would work at a power plant. And so another thing is I was on ADHD meds. So I was swapping back and forth between Adderall or Vyvanse, which, because he'd go to work for a 14-hour shift, and then he would come home and have to be primary parent while I was away at school, not really get any sleep during most of those processes, they would end up taking my medication, so I never really got to take it. Like, the only time I was able to take it was like, oh, it's a Saturday, your dad's off work, we want the house clean. Here, you can take your medicine today. Just get all of that done.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and there were times where, if I had cleaned and they thought it wasn't good enough, it was like, okay, well, we're going to lock you in your room until the morning, and then when you come back out, you can clean. It's like, I haven't eaten yet. And just a lot of really unfortunate ways that everything manifested just through one simple addiction with my mom, and how much that played into.
Yeah. Well, now, did you understand that there was an impact of these things going on in her life or your dad's life, and kind of understand the impact of that?
At that age, not really.
Okay. Like,
it was just kind of normal to me because I hadn't seen much else. And not that I thought it was right or justified. I just didn't know what else to expect.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't gone to a lot of friends' houses and everything. But I did know that there is an obvious difference in the love that I felt at home and the love that I felt at church.
Okay.
And I think that definitely instilled a joy for coming to church, because I could leave the house and not be under any of that kind of emotional burden.
Was your church family aware of some of the things going on?
A good bit of them, yeah. I think it became a little bit more evident as I got older. And like CPS would be involved probably once or twice a year. But I think once my little sisters were born and they started coming, that's where a lot more of it was showcased. Also because my mom will put anything and everything on Facebook. So I was constantly asked, like, hey, what is this about? And it's like, well,
oh boy,
I'd have to tell you a whole lot just to cover the backstory from that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Kind of hard to be a private person with so much of it. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So that the idea of hope is that it's a view of the future, and the greater our view of the future, the better our view of the future, the greater our hope. So what was your view of the future then, or did you have some kind of a view? And I have a follow-on question, but just go ahead and look at that.
Okay. Well, I think because I was the primary caretaker in my home, like once I got to high school, that was really where I started kind of trying to picture the future.
Okay.
Because it's like, oh, well, you need to start looking at colleges. You need to start thinking about where will your career be able to be. flourishing in. But looking at everything with my family, I just didn't see myself being able to leave my siblings in that kind of web.
Okay.
And I didn't want to leave that burden on my grandma. And
who, by the way, is a very sweet lady.
Oh, yeah. She's sweet. And she's definitely capable, but
yeah,
she's served her time parenting, and
oh yeah,
she's got so many grandkids,
Okay.
pardon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I know that, and it was kind of hard to picture the future, because growing up, like, I almost didn't feel like I had one.
Okay.
I don't know, there was definitely a lot of ways that home environment impacted me.
Okay. And that was kind of the follow-on question, how, if you had a view of the future, kind of how clear was that, or did you have some things in mind to help you engage in that future? So you answered that well. So you had some burdens to overcome, some obstacles and challenges and all of that. And here you sit today, almost ready to graduate.
Yeah.
All right.
Getting close.
Okay. Well, let's talk about hope. As I talk about it in the podcast, is to help folks discover, sustain, or regain hope. And you've kind of gone through that whole cycle. Okay, so how do you understand hope as a concept?
So I did write in my notes earlier, because I knew you were going to ask me this. So I feel
Notes are
like,
great, by the way. I rely on them.
yes. I feel like everybody thinks of hope as optimism. And I feel like it's not just blind optimism. It's more like a stubborn endurance. Like choosing to believe there's meaning even when things feel unfinished.
So I hear some
painful.
key words there. Choosing is a big word. Okay.
Like I used to
endurance is a big word.
Yes.
Okay. Go right ahead.
I used to think it meant like expecting a big good outcome, but I think it's more about like the present moment and trusting the growth that comes through hard seasons, like with the story of Joseph. Like
another big word there, trust. Okay, good.
But it's a lot quieter and, like I said, present than people think. Like it's the decision to keep showing up and to keep holding on.
Okay, you just described it in a way I don't think I've heard someone describe it yet. The idea of quieter. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I like that. So it's not something necessarily that it's all stirred up, rah-rah, and charging forward. Sometimes it is a quieter thing.
Right.
That confident assurance. Okay, great. Wow,
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, what do you see in the future for yourself? You're newly married, getting ready to graduate from college this year, or
Yes,
okay,
in May,
great.
actually.
Okay, and you did describe it a little bit with your degree and what you want to go with it. So yeah, what do you see for the future?
Well, I think going to college has definitely helped bring me out of some of the mindsets that I had been stuck in.
Okay.
Like growing up with an emotionally volatile mom and an emotionally absent dad. Like I'm able to read the room and kind of adapt to it, but I'm also able to adapt to when the room is chaotic. So looking forward, I have a lot of faith and hope in the fact that like no matter where God puts me, I'm going to be able to pull through it for whatever purpose he has me there for. And especially with Noah being in the military and he wants to do a full 20 years, make a career out of that.
Good for him.
I know I'll be in a lot of different environments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like right now, my plan is to, in the fall, get my master's in strategic communication.
Good.
I'm
field.
considering still doing that through ETBU, but I don't want to have a limited worldview, so I'm kind of shopping around still. And there is the thought on the table that after getting my master's, I might commission as an officer in the Marine Corps. Because one of my like end goal aspirations is like I want to be the public affairs specialist or the spokesperson for somebody in critical communication, and going that route through the military. The way that it works is once you get done with training and everything, you go to one of three fields. So there's airway, which I don't have like a science or engineering degree, so probably not that. Ground, which is a little bit more math and leadership based, and then there's the law and ethics. So I'll probably end up in that arena.
Okay.
Which a lot of those give you direct pipelines to being PR or public affairs specialist for like the Commandant of the Marine Corps or a general or, just other like big heads. So even if I only did 4 to 8 years of that, I could come out and start working for some more of those bigger agencies. Like I could work for the NSA, for the CIA in public affairs. So
well, let me let you know something. Sometimes senior officers, and I'm retired Air Force, sometimes senior officers or senior non-commissioned officers don't always know the right thing to say or when to say. And so sometimes it's good to have somebody whispering in their ear.
Yeah.
You need to say this or don't say that.
Right.
So, okay, great. I like that. Good deal. Okay. Anything else you want to add, Jessica? A fascinating story, and I think it's going to be an encouragement for a lot of folks to say, hey, you know what? I can do this.
Yeah.
Life's full of obstacles to overcome and challenges from so many different directions.
Right.
So.
I mean, I think one of the biblical stories that's really been something for me to hold on to growing up, like I mentioned earlier, the story of Joseph. Like, if my brothers had thrown me in a pit and sold me into slavery, I probably would have been really mopey, complaining all the time, just like no hope at all.
And then when they showed up one day, it'd be like, now it's my turn. I understand.
Just like what others did for evil, God meant for good. So like even if you're in a moment where like you don't have hope, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, like God's working through that.
Yeah.
And it might be building you up in a way that you don't expect. Like the way that my home shaped me, well, of course there were some negative things. I've got a lot of good qualities that now I can showcase, and now I can help guide others through that.
Yeah. Joseph is one of my favorite Old Testament characters. I just, like you say, I'm amazed at Joseph, how he maintained his faith, maintained a positive outlook, and he definitely had a vision of the future with the 7 years of famine or good years. 7 years.
Like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was a hopeful guy. He really was. Okay. Well, let me wrap up, Jessica. Thank you for sharing that story with me and the inspiration from it. Well, thank you for joining Jessica and I on our journey to hope. I invite you to contact me if you have any questions or comments, or if you wish to share with me something you've experienced in your journey to hope. My email is info@ourjourneytohope.com. That's info@ourjourneytohope.com. And please share this podcast with someone whose hope is being challenged. I look forward to sharing more with you soon. And until our next episode, remember, we give all glory to God our Father.